अच्छा। जय राधा माधव जय जय राधा माधव जय गोपी जय राधा माधव जय गोपी जय राधा माधव जय गोपी जय जय गिरिवारधार जय गिरि गोपी जनगाना जय गिरिवारधार गोपी जनगाना जय गिरिवारधार जय Krishna, Krishna. Okay. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. And we are reading from Canto 6, chapter 5, verse 23. It's 6, 5, 23. Oh. Let me just make sure the sound okay. All right. The mic is lighting up, so I think that's a good sign. Okay. Nasam nisamya putranam naradak jila sainam anvatapyataka sochan suprachastvam suchan padam Nasam nisamya putranam naradak jila sainam anvatapyataka sochan suprachastvam sucham padam Nisamya putranam naradak chilasalinam anvatapyataka sochan suprachastvam socham padam. Anyone like to chant?
Nasham nisham yaputranam naradachila shalinam anvatapyataka shocham suprajashvam shucham padam.
Thank you, Target Brew. Anyone else? Okay. Word for word. Nasam, the loss. Nisamya, hearing of. Putranam, of his sons. Naradat, from Narada. Shila Salinam, who were the best of well-behaved, who were the best of all, who were the best of well-behaved persons. Anvapyata suffered, Ka Prajapati Daksha, Sojan lament, Su Prajastvam, having 10,000 well-behaved sons, Sucham of lamentation, Padam position. Okay. Translation. Okay. The Hari Ashvas, the sons of Prajapati Daksha, were very well behaved, cultured sons, but unfortunately, because of the instructions of Narada Muni, they deviated from the order of their father. When Daksha heard this news, which was brought to him by Narada Muni, he began to lament. Although he was the father of such good sons, he had lost them all. Certainly this was lamentable. The Hari Ashvas, the sons of Prajapati Daksha, were certainly well behaved, learned and advanced, and in accordance with the order of their father, they went to perform austerities to beget good sons for their family. But Narada Muni took advantage of their good behavior and culture to properly direct them to be involved, direct them not to be involved with this material world, but to use their culture and knowledge to end their material affairs. The Hari Ashvas abided by the order of Narada Muni, but when news of this was brought to Prajapati Daksha, the Prajapati, instead of being happy with the actions of Narada Muni, was extremely sorrowful. Similarly, we are trying to bring as many young men as possible to the Krishna consciousness movement for their ultimate benefit. But the parents of the young men joining this movement, being very sorry, are lamenting and making counter-propaganda. Of course, Prajapati Daksha did not make propaganda against Narada Muni, but later, as we shall see, Daksha cursed Narada Muni for his benevolent activities. This is the way of materialistic life. The materialistic father and mother want to engage their sons in begetting children, striving for improved economic conditions and rotting in materialistic life. They are not unhappy when their children become spoiled, useless citizens, but they lament when they join the Krishna consciousness movement to achieve the ultimate goal of life. The animosity between parents and the Krishna consciousness movement has existed since time immemorial. Even Narada Muni was condemned, not to speak of others. Nevertheless, Narada Muni never gives up his mission. To deliver as many fallen souls as possible, he continues playing his musical instrument and vibrating the transcendental sound. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. End of purport. Om Maganatimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshu Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shivapam Sagrajatan Sagana Ragana Tambitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Pitam Vanchakalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Asari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so welcome everybody to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Hope everyone is nice and cozy. So I believe this is a popular purport. I know there's also another purport where Prabhupada says that just like I guess we'll hear about it later when the curse actually takes place. When Srila Prabhupada says that just as Narada Muni was cursed, I have also been cursed by the parents of my disciples, and therefore I have to go here and there, cannot stay in one place for very long. But nonetheless, I may be inflating those two purports. But yes, nonetheless, this is a very wonderful purport where we hear Prabhupada's insight into the matters of ISKCON. So just like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, so many purports. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's so wonderful because it's a more modern example of these teachings, than the Bhagavatam, so a little more relatable. Um, and in the purports, Prabhupada talks about like will give instructions about how to get to the places that are spoken of. He'll say like, if you take this railway station to this, town and then go 100 kilometers from there and go to this temple and then make a left. He, he's given these instructions and but yeah, along with that, he's also giving lots of personal realizations of his experience in preaching Krishna consciousness, the uh, conflicts that would sometimes arise with his god brothers, and purports like the one we hear today about um, how some of his disciples' parents are also not very are happy, are a little unhappy with their kids taking to this movement. Um, so there was this book, Srila Prabhupada, there was, I believe it was the parents of, these two brothers who joined the movement and became very famous for their many accomplishments, Ramananda Prabhu and Gargamuni Prabhu's, I believe. Yeah, anyways. So they both joined, and I believe it was their mother who was kind of a little dissatisfied and was maybe even questioned the Swami about taking her two sons, um, and so then in response to that, then a book was written. Who's crazy? Who is crazy? Um, because someone might say, "Oh, devotees. I mean, what in the world? Like, really? Like, you know?" I remember when I was going to New Zealand last year around this time, and I was on a plane with this guy who was also from New Zealand, and so we struck up a conversation, and then yeah, he was from Wellington, nearby Wellington, which is where a lot of the preaching goes on. Like there in Auckland, a lot of the preaching goes on. So, anyways, he was from near Wellington. So I mentioned, I was like talking with him, and then I was like, yeah, I'm actually, because he was asking like, why am I going there? He said, oh, I'm going to visit a friend. And then, it came out that, uh, yeah, I'm actually like a Hare Krishna. When I said that, he just like very casually or very nonchalantly, he said, why would you do that? Not why would like why not why would I go there to visit a friend? Why would I be a devotee? Why would I be a Hare Krishna? He's like, why would you do that? Anyways, his mood towards me definitely that was a little bit of a shift, um, because I think it was limiting the amount of things we could relate to each other. But anyways, we ended up becoming um, pretty good um, neighbors um, throughout our journey. Um, but yeah, it was just fun. He's like, why would you do that? Oh, so yeah, why would we do that? So yeah, seem quite odd that one would take up such a lifestyle. Um, as we hear in the Bhagavad Gita also says, what is day for the transcendentalist is nighttime for the materialist, and vice versa. So Vaisheshika Prabhu, he tells a story how he's like, I had practical realization of this verse because one day I was just waking up from Mangalartik in the LA temple. And as I was waking up to go to Mangalartik, and my neighbor was just coming home from his, evening party. And when I remember back, also, I remember, yeah, 4 a.m. That was kind of like that was usually about when things would wind down, and I would be coming home. 4 a.m. Wow, yeah, that's not crazy. But yeah, 4 a.m. That's when we're getting up. Like Prabhupada, in one letter, he said one should rise before 4. So I remember that was always in the Sankirtan band. That was our thing. Not just getting up at 4. You got to get up before 4. Like, you know, your body has to be in the uh, shape of a right triangle. You have to be like your torso has to be above the bed by 4 a.m. Um, so we were very strict on that. Um, but yeah, so um, they think they think we're crazy, and I mean, it's not even that we think they're crazy. They just they just are crazy. Sorry. I mean, if you think about just how the materialist is living, yeah, it's completely their, you know, bodily health, their physical health, their mental health, and um, you know what they're doing for the world, all that. It's just it is just completely insane. But I remember, yeah, like I used to have so many problems with my teeth, um, and now I know why because I went one time I went to the doctors recently. I think I said this in a previous class, and they were telling me this nurse was telling me um, that she was telling me that you should not drink an acidic liquid for longer than 15 minutes because your teeth produce some coating. So when you like are a drinker, when you drink alcohol, you're drinking not for only 15 minutes, you're drinking like, a long time, many muhurtas. What a muhurta is like 45 minutes. You're drinking for many muhurtas. Um, so anyway, so yeah, I used to have so many problems with my teeth. And then once I once I became a devotee, even I didn't go to the uh, I didn't go to the a dentist for like many years, first 5 years or something. But then when I went, it was like no cavities. Before I was averaging like I don't know cavity every 2 months maybe, root canal every 5. Okay, maybe that a little exaggerated about the root canal, but yeah. Then, so I had many problems with my teeth. Then, once I took to this pure lifestyle, boom, all material problems within the region of the head and the lower front portion were finished. So, and then my health also, like, I swear, I didn't get sick for like, almost like the first 2 or 3 years. Like, I just practically didn't get sick. Whereas before, it's just like you're always getting sick. If you're not like, don't have a cold or a flu, you're just hungover, or of course, like over on Puja. I'm staring at this hill right now, and I'm just thinking, this hill probably really did a number on many devotees, in terms of the sugar intake that they did that night. But anyways, but yeah. So if you're not sick by the flu or sick by a cold, you're sick by just being hungover or um, just in general having bad health. Um, so for a devotee, it's yeah, the whole lifestyle. It's very conducive for one's natural well-being. And yeah, that's why in Nectar Devotion, it's described that the path is all auspicious. And the definition that's given there of all auspicious is that it's not only good for you, but it's actually good for everyone, to take up this path. So, so yeah, who is crazy? But okay, let's say, for argument's sake, let's say that one could say, well, you're talking about bad about the materialists, and this and that. But what about those people, like, who are who are living healthy? You can't just make a blanket statement that if you become a devotee, um, sorry, if you're not a devotee, just, you're just like living a terrible, unhealthy, unregulated life. Because obviously, some people are living very regulated. Yeah, like we get so much wisdom from um, people who aren't necessarily devotees about how to live, diet information, exercise information about mental health, like that. So one might say, who's this guy talking, like, saying the devotees the only one that know how to live healthy? Um, well, first of all, it's definitely definitely the Krishna consciousness movement, even on a material level, has helped so many people just come to that material level of goodness, right? Like, you know, I don't remember. Science of Self-Realization, I think, talks about, I mean, this common theme. Prabhupada talks about how, the government spends so much money on this, like, a drug rehabilitation, um, but, this Krishna conscious movement, then it gets people to automatically get off drugs, get off this left side down, prashadam coma cure, post festival, um, post festival asana, devotee yoga. Yeah. So we have that LSD, but in terms of, um, like, mm, many people who were taking these drugs and stuff before are able to get off them. Um, and yeah, like when Prabhupada went 26 Second Avenue, that place was interesting reading about the history of it and how, like, different groups would predominated there at different times. And it was kind of like it's like kind of this whole historical event leading up to it just being a chaotic place of a bunch of hippies and, like, yeah, like people who kind of were rejected from society or rejected themselves from society. And anyways, just like an intense place. like we hear about now, these anyways, man, things are getting wild, you know? Just like these like whole places of homelessness. I mean, anyways, but yeah, so there's certain places that just certain things lead up to it being like a chaotic, whatever, downtrodden place. So that was like that, 26th Second Avenue. And so that place was just like became the epicenter of, um, maybe not the epicenter, but I think San Francisco's probably the epicenter, but nonetheless, um, it was a very not a very sattvic place. Let's just say it, not a very sattvic place. But then Prabhupada came and just turned so many people from there towards having a clean life. Clean life. I remember I like Jayadvaita Maharaj. She says this is all about good, clean fun. So after a kirtan, everyone's so happy and joyful and have some good fun. Um, so yeah, okay. So not only is the Krishna conscious movement is like, of course, yeah, there are those people. Naturally, they're just going to be into health and all this kind of stuff, just whatever by their karma. But the Krishna conscious movement has gotten so many people to be interested in that type of lifestyle because of what it has to offer, which is, the highest bliss. Sushukam kartam avyayam. Rajavidya Rajakuyam Pavitam Ila Pratyak Savagam Dharmam Sushukam Kartam Avyam. That this knowledge is the king of all education, the most secret of all secrets, it's the purest, and because it gives direct perception of the self, it is the highest religion, it is everlasting and universe. Um, yeah, everlasting and joyfully perfect. Yeah, so many of us, it's like, okay, I want, okay, being healthy, that sounds good, but you know, do I want to be healthy at the expense of my own bliss, my own, so-called bliss that I think I'm getting? Like we're all seeking after pleasure, and it, for one who's not very sattvic, like telling them that, oh, if you just exercise all day, restrain from illicit activities, um, study for university, um, uh, eat healthy, one day, then you're gonna see the benefit of it all. Most of us, our parents tell us this, but it's like, it's like, okay, okay, what, yeah, I need some bliss now, and that entails like eating eating some junk food or you know putting putting poison in our bodies to make us inebriated. Um, but so what Krishna consciousness is doing is not. It's like okay, give these things up, but you're gonna directly perceive the benefit of giving these things up, and you're giving them up knowing that you're actually gonna get bliss, a higher taste. Param Drisvanupardhate. The taste for the sense objects remains, but by experiencing a higher taste, then one gives up lower activities. Yeah, but where was I going with this? Yeah, but someone might say, well, what about those people who do have just like good karma? They are healthy, like this. Um, and the thing is, I had this realization from and I don't recommend getting realizations this way. I there was a news feed, and I read into it. Thought it'd be a bit helpful, and pretty much this famous actor, got divorced for like the whatever many of times, and and just that, just looking at this fact, like this phenomenon that even these people who are like so beautiful have like great careers, millions and millions of dollars, fame, everything you think you could want, still they are like miserable. Oh yeah, because this actor was saying that you can't have you can't love anyone else before you love yourself. And I was thinking, what? This person doesn't love themselves? Like, how does this person not love themselves when they are like, I mean, I love them. I love them. I don't even know them, but I just love them because um, they're like very beautiful and good actors. So, anyways, okay. Um, but yes, even someone like this, still is experiencing a lack of fulfillment in their lives. So that is quite telling. That is quite, and the realization I had from it was like, wow, if we could be striving our whole lives. I mean, everyone is, the whole world is striving their whole lives to get to a position where people in that position aren't even happy. They don't love themselves. They're like, even, yeah, committing suicide or being on drugs. Like, Hare Krishna. It's and somehow we hear that time and time again. We everyone knows this. There's a whole magazines dedicated to like how miserable, chaotic the lives of these so-called idols of our society, how chaotic their lives are, and how oppressed they are. And st- people are striving for this. People are still striving to live these lives, which, upon attaining that goal, one is not satisfied. It's just complete. It's complete. It's complete. What is it? What do we call that? Maya. Complete Maya. It's complete illusion. And you can see how this illusion is just bewildering the intelligence. Um, that's just sarvasya. So like, yeah, even when Krishna was here, people were just bewildered and they couldn't even understand it. So this power of illusion is so intense. Devi yasya gunamayi mama madhyate. Um, you know, Krishna said this illusory energy mind is very difficult to overcome. Um, so and this is the theme in this section of Bhagavatam. This theme is that what is the use? Even if you get this, even if you get so many things, like what is actually the use? Um, and what is the use if one doesn't come to bhakti? Shama eva hi keva. So even perfection of your varna ashram dharma, being the perfect Brahmana, being the perfect Kshatriya, being the perfect Vaishya. Like you could strive your whole life for these perfections. Atabhumbir Dvijashasta Varnasha. Yeah, I don't remember the first and last lines, but yeah, what is the use of them? It's all simply the Bhagavatam says it's all simply a waste of time. Um, so in our own life, we have to examine like, okay, like where, what are our priorities? Like where are our priorities? Are we just, are we willing to compromise this most important thing just for like this illusion of whatever happiness is going to bring when one pursues some material thing? Um, yeah, it's we have to like introspect and kind of guide our lives based on that. Um, and like one devotee was just telling me a story. This devotee who had so many, was just working himself up materially. Um, but it was like there was no end. There was no end to it. Like this endeavor, that endeavor, and anyways, I don't. It's the story was very clear. Was very instructive about. Oh, here we go. I'll just tell this story. This is a wonderful story. Told me by Twitter recently. One, so there's a man, and he's in his little fisherman town, and so every day he goes out on his boat for this 3 hours. 3 hours on the water catching his fish. Then he comes home, um, spends time with his family, spends time with the grandkids, um, you know, takes a little rest for lunch, then gets up. So he just, yeah. So he has like, gets up, reads his books that he likes to read. Then he goes out for 3 hours on the water, does his fishing. Then he comes back home, takes a little rest, and in the afternoon plays with his grandkids like that. And so just a life, not it just works just enough, right? Just that 3 hours, whatever sells his product, and has a lot of time to do the things that he loves, spending time with family like that. So then this businessman, he was this corporate, guy was visiting, and he saw this guy's life, the fisherman's life, and he told him, he said, you know, if you just, if you were to, use one of those hours to train someone else up, then that person could could do the fishing, and then you can build up your enterprise, and then you can manage this many people, and then once you manage this many people, you get this much money. You can invest it in this, and it pretty much it was more work. It was like it was like he was gonna get more money, like a lot, yeah, be able to make a lot more money by the suggestions of this corporate guy, but it was gonna be a lot more work. Now he's instead of just going out alone, now he's like managing fleets, you know, managing people, managing like overseas trade. And so the businessman was like, come on, this is like the obvious thing to do. And so the fisherman asked him, well, okay, so if I do all this, what will happen? Yeah, then you'll get more money, you know. And then he said, okay, well then what do I do? It's like, well, then you'll make more money. And then you'll be able, and then you'll be able to retire early. And then he said, well, and then, okay, the fisherman told him, okay, what will happen when I retire early? And the corporate guy told them, business told him, well, if you retire early, then, you'll just get to, you can still do a little fishing a few hours a day because that's what you love. Have time to spend with your family, have time to spend with your grandkids, have time to wake up in the morning and read the books that you love to read. And the fisherman said, well, that's what I'm doing right now. So why would I do all? So the point was being made that, um, um, as devotees, what we love to do is devotional service. Like devotional service is the true wealth. So, um, we can we have a goal in mind, going back to Godhead. So why would we entangle ourselves in this world unnecessarily to the point where, it's like that fisherman is going to do all this crazy stuff, run himself, just at one point in time be able to go back and do devotional service. Um, yeah. So we just have to keep our eyes on the prize and, know that these material things are not going to make us happy. They really aren't. Of course, we need, according to our psychophysical condition, we need to, uh, in such a way that's conducive for service and, for our well-being in the long run. But, um, it should never be at the expense of bhakti. And that's what the guru is looking after. The guru is saying, the guru is our blind spots. Well, I don't, this idea that you have might seem so good, like, wow, yeah, like, great idea, But the guru, because he has seen the truth, he knows, actually, this is just going to take you away from bhakti. So, yeah, with faith in the guru, then um, we adjust our plans accordingly. We adjust our plans according to, um, the warnings given. You know, it's like, man, it's like, yeah, um, yeah, amazing. The guru can, he can see what's happening, and especially if we have our gurus on the planet, it's so important. And if our guru leaves, then either take shelter someone else, or then you have to make those strategic decisions on your own, which, might, yeah, might not always go the best way. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I'll stop there. If there are any questions or comments, um, feel free to do so now. Haribol, someone's saying Haribol. Where's that Haribol coming from? Quick comment from Venamadurya Prabhu.
Just to the last point that you mentioned about, people living the planet, then both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, when Guru leaves, if the servant served Guru faithfully, then he continues guiding his disciple just from within, from the heart. Because ultimately, Guru represents Krishna, and Krishna never leaves his devotee, and the guidance comes as Chaitya Guru from within and from without in the form of spiritual master, and from within as Paramatma. So you will not be making strategic decisions just on your own. You'll still be consulting and guided by the Super Soul, but only with the condition that you have sufficiently purified yourself, strictly following spiritual master's instructions during your servitorship career as a disciple. And of course, there's no harm to take guidance of senior Vaishnavas, as you have mentioned. Like, really, that's always there. It's always good to have guidance and, consultancy and discussion. But just wanted to make this point because it's explained in Puranjana story when how Krishna comes in the form of Brahmana and guides the wife who is left alone. That's very nice verses in the fourth canto that describe that I was always there, I just forgot, and just like a description there. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. Just gonna ask you for a quote on that, and boom, you gave it. Yeah, there's one pastime where the Chandrama, his always Chandrama, he went and paid obeisance in front of the Murti of Prabhupada, and he heard Prabhupada saying, "You're eating too much." So Prabhupada was guiding him. Did you discuss how and why you came to be a devotee with the man on the plane? Um, I- you know, how did it go down? How did it go down? I didn't initially because, I guess maybe I was being a little oversensitive, but, when someone is like, why would you do that? She's like, yeah, I'm a devotee. Why would you do that? It was kind of like, I didn't perceive him being in the right consciousness to like be receptive. And it might, probably thinking it would actually go down worse. But it's funny because then after the plane, he's seeing me like just like whatever, doing my chant, doing all the so-called weird stuff, chanting and reading and offering my food. Probably thinking, what in the world is this guy doing? But then by the end, he was asking like, so he was actually asking, what is this all about? So yeah, then I did have a chance to talk to him about it, and I invited him to the center. Um, I think I gave him a pamphlet. So yeah, so it actually did end up working out in the long run. Like I like this quote, and maybe different strokes, different folks, but there's this quote that yeah, I'm always preaching. I'm always preaching, and sometimes I speak. So it's like, you know, yeah, we should be preaching by our actions, and then sometimes we can speak and actually tell people uh, uh, we're doing. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, round out that story. Yeah, amazing, amazing. He saw what this guy's not ordering alcohol. This guy's like not watching movies, and then so they become curious, like, what is this dude all about? Like, okay, maybe there is something to this because this guy's just like praying. This guy's it's like praying and yeah, praying and reading the whole time. So, okay. So curtains are about to open. Thank you all very much. Appreciate your association. Have a wonderful day. And Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srimad Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Ko. Shri Radha Damodar Shakadevi Nita Gaura Sundara ki jai. Saganapada Shivara Shigre Bhagavan Panchatattva ki jai.
Hari Puja, Puja, Om Krishna, Hari Puja, Ha, Puja, Om Krishna,
Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Through the floater possesses an eternal form of physical power. From victory carriers of human form, who manifested himself in the world, who slowed the butter that slowly separated from the rafters of this village, and who then quickly jumped up and ran into the street of fair bloody shield us, that was ultimately caught to that word Sri Damodar.
His burden of travel, for instance, and the devil after to the man, I think that the Lord here will be real. and found his own love that pure love and glory. The supreme Lord Namadara and made his honor and heavenly God.
O Lord, although you're able to do all kinds of conditions, I do not praise you for liberation from eternal love and self or any other feeling. My only prayer is that it shall be passed on straight from captivity and my memories. O Lord, I do not even want to know the future development. I simply wish that your child and father that ever be enacted in my life.
O our Christian, O Lamb of the Lord, be pleased upon me, and drown in the boat of sorrow, almost at the dead. It shall the earth mercy upon me, and liberty protect me from Lord and failing wisdom.
O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, when we showed about with the binding stone, with the rope of time power. You then be the son of the bearer of Managriva and Malabar, who were perfectly standing trees, and you gave them a chance to become the both. Please bless them in the same way. I have no desire to make vision. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back. It's all just from this one.